Welcome back, JDM fam. Today we're talking about the 7th Gen Civic and 5 must-have mods that you need for your 7th Gen Civic, whether you already have one or you're thinking about buying one. One of the mods actually isn't even a fun performance mod. It's actually something that you need to prevent damage to your Civic, as well as save you lots of money, headaches, and time. The first must-have mod for any 7th Gen Civic, whether it's the EP3SI, the Coupe, or the Sedan, is going to be a drop. Whether that's coilovers or springs, it definitely needs a drop. This car actually comes very tall stock. These Civics are very tall, just like the generations before. If you guys look at the newer Civics, even the 10th Gen Civics, they're all a little bit lower. They look more aggressive, they have less body roll, and they just look a lot better when modded. They don't even absolutely need to be dropped, even though dropping the newer Civics obviously will make it look even more aggressive and even better. But the 7th Gen Civic definitely requires a drop if you guys are building one and you want it to look good and ride good. If you want to take corners and have less body roll, then you're going to want to invest in a nice set of coilovers or lowering springs. I actually bought Skunk 2 lowering springs for this Civic. It was a little bit taller in the front, so I didn't like that. I'd probably go with coilovers if I did it again, and it just really improves the looks as well as takes away the body roll. It's going to take corners better, and this is a great mod that's not too expensive, and it will transform the look of your car as well as make it perform better. The next must-have mod for the 7th Gen Civic is an aftermarket intake. This is a basic mod you want for any Civic, but the 7th Gen Civic stock intake box is actually poorly designed. Most stock intake boxes on Civics are going to have a bad paper filter, and this one is exactly the same, but it also has screws to actually get to the stock filter, and these screws can strip, creating leaks which can make the engine sound really weird, as well as letting air and dirt in right there, and possibly moisture, which you definitely don't want moisture to be able to get into the engine so close to the intake manifold right there, where it can just enter the combustion chamber. You definitely don't want that. So it's a bad design. Obviously, if it's not stripped out, it's not going to be as bad, but still, an aftermarket intake can definitely make it more aggressive. And if you're building a Civic, you definitely don't want this stock intake anyways. Obviously, when we're talking about mods, we're going to talk about exhaust as well. If you're going to get an intake, you might as well get exhaust. Even in aftermarket, catback exhaust is going to help. The more air you can let out of the exhaust, the more air you can let into the intake and into the engine, which will help with performance. Now, there is a limit. The ECU can only handle a certain amount until you tune it, but with an aftermarket intake and a simple catback or axleback exhaust, you don't need a tune. You just bolt on and get going. It's going to make it sound better. It's going to let a little bit more exhaust out, which means a little bit more air will get into the engine, and it's going to feel a little bit peppier as well. And the next mod is a really budget-friendly, affordable mod that you can install very easily, and that is an aftermarket lip. You can get them in Mugen style, Type R style. It's going to help with the looks as well as making the car look lower and help with aero a little bit. Now, this mod is very easy to install. It literally takes a few screws. It's a great way to upgrade your stock bumper, make it look more aggressive, and not have to change too much of the bumper. Now, also, you can run it as a black lip. You can paint match it, or you can wrap it carbon fiber. You could do all kinds of stuff with it, and it just brings up the looks so much in the front. And the last mod is something that's not really fun, but with these Civics, there's problems with the alternator backing out and loosening. If the alternator does loosen up, it will unground itself and send power to the ECU, burning out the ECU. I've had this happen in this silver Civic that I'm talking about in this video today, and it just goes into limp mode. The ECU dies, basically, burns out part of the ECU, and it will just go into limp mode, and you have to replace the ECU after this, it is no good, and after that, you'll have to reprogram your key to the new ECU. So it's a big problem with these Civics. Look up online and you'll see all kinds of people saying that they had these issues. I've actually made a video on how to fix it. Basically, that's what you do. You swap out the ECU, reprogram the key to the new ECU, and it is just a big hassle. It's better just to prevent it from happening by making sure your alternator is tight. Improper tightening will definitely contribute to this because the alternator can back out. Honda actually issued a service bulletin for the 7th Gen Civic specifically addressing this issue. The original factory service manual had an improper tightening sequence and torque values. So number one thing that you want to do is make sure that your alternator is tight, especially if you recently worked on it. Just make sure that nothing has backed out or loosened up, and you should be good. Also, as a backup, something that I've been asked many times on how to do and how I did it was on my 7th Gen Civic. I actually went above and beyond all of this. I actually grounded the alternator straight to the radiator support. Now, as you can see here, I used a ground cable and I bolted it to the radiator support and to one of the parts of the alternator. There's actually spots with threading on the alternator. You just find a small screw or bolt that will fit onto it and you attach it on there. It's very easy, and as long as it's metal to metal from the alternator to the ground and to the radiator support, it should be grounded, and it's better than nothing. This gave me some peace of mind, as well as just making me feel like it will always be fine even if it backs out a little bit, and I wouldn't have to deal with it. And to this day, this Civic is still driving great, still runs great, and there are no problems with the ECU or the alternator. And this is just something that I came up on my own with, and I'm sure it does work. I don't want to test it, but like I said, it did make me feel better. So this is another mod you can do to your Civic that I think the 7th Gen Civic should have as a must-have mod, and it just makes you feel a lot better about not having any problems mechanically, at least with the ECU in the future. So make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you guys like this video. If you guys like Honda and Honda Civic content, definitely subscribe. Check out my 7th Gen playlist. If you guys want to see any of the mods that I actually installed on the Civic in a video, I made so many videos about fixes and mods on this car, especially if you guys want to hear more clips of the intake sound as well as exhaust sound. We installed lots of mods on this Civic in videos. We installed the Type R style grille as well as aftermarket tail lights, different headlights, fog lights, all kinds of stuff on the Civic. So definitely check out that 7th Gen Civic playlist on my channel if you guys want to see more on this 7th Gen Civic, and if you guys like following this platform. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.